In today's session, we are going to look at a very important topic in S matrix, the network theory, properties of S matrix. I hope it is visible to you all. Just let me recall what we completed in the previous class because there is a long gap. The last session was last week. Okay, we have completed initially starting with the what is the necessity of going for a new parameters. Yes, parameters, we took that initially. Why we go for yes parameters? Okay, some reasons are there why we cannot go with the good old parameters which you use in your network theory, low frequencies. Okay, so with that reasoning, then we have seen a simple derivation for a reciprocal network. The Z impedance and admittance matrices, they are symmetrical. Okay, this derivation we have seen from the Poynting theorem and Lorentz reciprocity theorem. We made use of both and we have derived this. Then we have seen the S matrix representation, okay, for a multi-port network. How generally we can define S matrix. This is the equation. B is equal to S into A. This is the general form. General form, how we can just represent the S matrix equation. Then we have seen in the previous session different losses that you come across in a transmission line in terms of S parameters. Okay, then only you can be able to analyze the circuit, right? Analyze the microwave frequency circuit in terms of S parameters. So 4 different losses we have come across, out of which 2 were dealt in this session and 2 were given as a work for you. Hope you have done that. In today's session, we are going to look at the properties of S matrix. Okay, let us start with some basic properties. First one, you might have observed this when there is no reflection. Okay, when we were dealing with the multi-port network, when there were no reflections, when we had taken the load impedance is equal to Z naught, right? ZL is equal to Z naught was the condition for a perfectly matched condition. So that with that condition, no reflections will come into those two pair of ports, right? For the derivation, need not again have to recall what all we did. Okay, so for a perfectly matched condition, we know that ZL is equal to Z naught. So for any ith port, okay, if it is perfectly matched to the junction, then there are no reflections from that port. So reflections nahi hai. What does that mean in terms of S matrix is the S subscript I into I, okay? I indicates what? To the same port. There is no reflection, right? If you are taking the first port, this is your second port, okay? There will be no reflections, right? So 1 1, that is yes 1 1. For first port I'm talking about, 1 1 indicates what? To the same port, no reflections, that is equal to 0. If I take the second port, yes 2 2, if it is perfectly matched, there will be no reflections, no coming back of the incident wave. So yes 2 2 will be equal to 0. This is the first property of S matrix. What is it? For a perfectly matched condition, okay, if some one port is there, say ith port, if that is perfectly matched to the junction, then there will be no reflections from that port, hence yes I dot I will be equal to 0. Okay, so hence this I'm taking only for ith port. Similarly, if you take all the ports, if they're all perfectly matched, what would happen? This 1.1, 2.2, 3.3, all these elements will become 0. That is the diagonal elements, because if you observe your S matrix representation, let me go back. See here, this is your S matrix for a n cross n multi-port. If you observe, these are the diagonal elements which indicate the same port values 1 1, 2 2, 3 3, 4 4. So these leading diagonal elements, they will become 0 for a perfectly matched condition. This is your first property of the S matrix. Okay, then in bracket I have written here, in short, under perfectly matched condition, the diagonal elements of S matrix are 0. Okay. Now, second property. You have observed this for a multi-port network, the S matrix representation you have seen, it is always a square matrix, okay, of the order in general for a multi-port network n cross n, where n is the number of ports. So if it is a 2-port network, the matrix will be of the order 2 cross 2, right? 2 cross 2, jitne ports rahenge, order n value wo rahega, order will be 2 cross 2, 4 elements will be there. If it is a 4-port network, then you will be getting 4 cross 4, that you will be getting in case of waveguides. Okay, you will see across after this when we go for the second half of the module 2, you will see how in a waveguide 4-port network we will form. Okay, 4-port matrix we will form. So this is your second property, it is a square matrix. Coming to the third property, important one, a network is referred as a reciprocal. We have seen what is a reciprocal. What do you mean by a reciprocal, right? So if you look from one side and if you look at the other side, the symmetric, what you say, right? Their direction, as one of your friends Sana said, direction is not important. Irregard of this directions, we will get the same values, right? So that is reciprocal or symmetry. So if that is the case, then the S matrix, I'm talking in terms of S matrix now. So S matrix and its a transpose, this capital T indicates the transpose. Transpose means what? How you find the transpose of any matrix? Exchange, rows into columns. If you do that, you will get the transpose of the matrix. So if you take the original matrix and its a transpose, both are equal for a reciprocal network. So this is important. Sometimes the question may be explain or list the properties of S matrix, or individually these matrix, which one or two properties are there, the symmetric property or reciprocal or unitary property, which you're going to study it next. So these two properties, they may ask you the proof. Prove the symmetric property of S matrix. Prove the unitary property of S matrix. Okay. So possibility of the questions are either explain the properties or the derivations of these two properties. So a network is referred to as a reciprocal network if this condition holds good. Okay. Then you have unitary property. So what is unitary? This unitary property we will apply for a network which is lossless. So what do you mean by a lossless network? Lossless indicates it is not having any resistance to the power flow. Okay, energy flow के लिए कोई resistance नहीं देगा line, transmission line. So a network is said to be a lossless. Then if this condition is satisfied, what is this? The S matrix transpose and S star, you know what is star? Star indicates conjugate. So if you take the product of these two, you will get identity matrix. Because the term identity, one is involved, it is called unitary matrix. Okay, a network is said to be lossless if this condition is satisfied. This we call it unitary property. And there is one more last property. Complex S parameters of a network, because why I'm talking about complex, even though we are talking about the input and output variables are here not simple voltages and currents, here they are waves, traveling waves, so which has got its own amplitude as well as the phase. So we may get a complex form, right? Polar form. Complex parameters of a network, they are defined with respect to the positions of the port. Because I had told you earlier also, when you go for a low frequency network, you deal in terms of what? A port which is a pair of terminals. But here when you come across a microwave network, a high frequency network, so here the port will be what? A reference plane. That's why whenever you consider a plane, you should consider its positions. I had told you when you have a piece of cake, right? As not piece, like a long rectangular cake. If you just take it into number of slices, each slice will represent one plane, right? So if you take a long pipe, okay, in which water is flowing, this front side that will be your the first one port, the reference plane. The other end will be your the another second port reference plane. So when you talk about the reference planes, positions matter a lot. So hence the complex S parameters for a network, they are defined with respect to the positions of the port, that is reference planes. So for a two port network, let's see how we define this S parameters. If this is your two port network, okay, this 1 and 2 are your reference planes. So two ports, okay, 1 and 2, they are your reference planes, two ports. This is your S matrix, which is, you know how to get this, yes, 1 1 1 2 2 1 2 2. Okay, if reference planes are shifted outward from 1 and 2 to 1 dash and 2 dash, the position is now shifted. The measurement, the looking at the position at from which you are looking at into the port 1 and port 2 into the network. Okay, if you shift that, the reference planes, they are shifted. Now it is not here, the position is shifted to 1 dash and 2 dash. So if this changes, so what will happen to the S matrix? S matrix, the new S matrix will be, say, S dash. Okay, it is going to be, no doubt this will be as it is, it will be multiplied by these two matrices. Okay, the new wave variables are a1 e raised to j phi 1 c, because yes will be now in terms of complex, because you are shifting the reference plane, the phase will change. Okay, because of that phi 1 and phi 2 they have taken. So you can see here, S11 is j phi 1, S22 is j phi 2. Here also it is same. So if 1 and 2 are your reference planes, this is your S matrix. If you shift your reference planes to 1 dash and 2 dash, there is a shift, there is a phase shift. So your S matrix, new S matrix will be S dash is equal to center S is as it is, it will be multiplied by these two matrices. So this property, it is valid for any number of ports. So you can just extend this concept to any number of ports. So here, for example, two port network we have taken. Hope these properties are clear to you. As I said, one of the question may be explain or list the properties of S matrix, which we have listed just now. One more important question is prove the either unitary property or symmetry property. So let us go for the proofs. First one, the symmetric property. Let us take this. So as I told you, symmetric property or reciprocal network. For a reciprocity, you can even say the synonym. Instead of giving you prove the symmetric property, they can even ask you prove the reciprocity property. Okay, here in that term you should take both same, because for a reciprocal network the Z and Y matrices are symmetrical. So is the case with your S parameters, the S matrix. Because of that, reciprocity property or the symmetric property, it can be taken in both ways. For a reciprocal network, I'm giving you the definition. Okay, it satisfies the reciprocity theorem. What reciprocity theorem says? The S matrix and its transpose both are same. Or I think for Z, you have taken like this, Zij is equal to impedance Zji, that is symmetric. So I have to prove this. The transpose and the original matrices are equal. This is what we have just listed. See, symmetry property, S and S transpose for a reciprocal network, it is same. So remember, whenever you come across symmetry, reciprocal comes. Similarly, when we come across unitary property, lossless network comes. Reciprocal and lossless. So let us prove the property. Let me start with the basics. The basics, when we started with the module 1, the transmission line equations we have derived, if you remember. So we know that the V is equal to V plus V minus e raised to gamma Z, e raised to minus gamma Z. So out of these two, even similarly, even I also have written here, you can see this is your equation 1. This is your equation 2. We have proved these two properties. We have taken a transmission line, we have divided into per unit length, right? Then after that, We have taken some differential equations, partial derivatives 2 times, then we got some equations, then we found the solutions, we got these equations. So after this, as we have, see here, 1, 2, 3 and 4 variables. However, only 2 equations we have. It is not possible to find 4 unknowns by 2 equations. So what we did, we converted I equation in terms of again V plus and V minus, right? So from these 2 equations for V and I, which I have just check marked here, you can see I'm considering these 2 equations for my reference. You can see the first term represents your incident wave and the second term represents your reflected wave. So your traveling wave will be the combination of incident and reflected wave. Fine. So in the first V expression, V plus V minus, that is incident plus reflected, and for I case, incident minus reflected. So keeping this in our minds, if I take any, if you take a 2-port network, okay, for a 2-port network, you can take this, you have taken this A1 and B1, A2 and B2. The figure need not have to draw one more time. I'm not drawing, but for a proof, you should draw. Better to draw this figure. So you have a 2-port network here. You have S11, S12, then S21, S22. Okay. So please complete this figure, which we have already seen how to get the equations. So from this, you can see the incident wave is A and reflected wave is B in general, okay, whether it may be 1, 2, 3, 4. A indicates incident, B indicates reflected. So taking these 2 into our consideration, how I can write for a reciprocal network from the Ohm's law, V equals to IR, right? So V is equals to, instead of R, I'm taking the impedance into I. So if I take this, what I'm going to get, V, I am taking the reference of this equation, incident plus reflected. V is a combination, the traveling wave is a combination of incident plus reflected wave in general, because I'm not taking 1, 2, 3, 4. For a multi-port network, I'm representing A or B in terms of matrix, okay, which will cover all, which will cover every A's and B's. So I'm replacing this matrix form of voltage, the variable. This is a combination of incident plus reflected. Similarly, Z I'm keeping as it is. The I value, take the reference of the second equation. I'm taking this as a subtraction of A and A minus B from the second equation. Okay, A plus B and A minus B. In the next step, I have multiplied this Z to both the terms. See, it's a simple mathematics. A plus B is equal to, when I'm talking about A and B, they are not simple numbers, they are matrices. Remember, I am uttering the word A. It is not simply A, it is matrix A. So A plus B is equal to Z into A minus Z into B. All these are matrices. What I have done in the next step is collect all A terms at one side and all B terms at the other side. So if I take that, see, this is your A term. These 2 are the A terms. I have taken this to the other side. And your next B terms, which are again 2 in number, you have 2 B terms. Collectively, I have taken that to the one side. So B plus ZB is equal to ZA minus A. Again, you can take B common in this. Take B common. You will be left with 1 plus Z. B is taken common. Similarly, go for the left hand side. I'm taking A common here. If you take A common, you'll be left with Z minus 1. Okay. Try to remember when we went for S matrix representation for a multi-port network, how we have got the final expression. B is equal to S into A. So the column matrix for a reflected wave, B, it is at the left hand side, all other terms are at the right hand side. So similarly, using the same concept, what I will do, I will keep your A term to one side and I will take all other terms at the other side. See, I have kept B here. B is equal to, these two terms are as it is. See, I have kept A as it is. I have kept Z minus 1 also as it is. This, whatever is there, this term, if I take to the other side, it will come into the denominator. Okay, it is something like 1 by A. Okay, something like this it will come. How I have written? I have written A inverse. Both are same. So 1 plus Z, this I have written here 1 plus Z inverse. Inverse indicates it is in the denominator. I have taken here in the numerator form. Hope you are understanding what I have done here. Please try to look at B as it is, A as it is, and Z minus 1 as it is. Only this 1 plus Z, this I have taken here. If I take it to the other side, it will come in the denominator. That will be inverse. So let this be equation 1. And just now, as I have told you, generally how a S matrix equation is written, B is equal to S into A. Here also we have got the similar kind of sequence. See, B is equal to some bracket. Okay, you have some bracket you have got into A. So here also we have got B equals to bracket into A. Here also we have B is equal to S into A. So if you compare equation 1 and 2, what do you get? There is a B here, there is a A here. So remaining term we can equate. S is equal to this complete bracket. So if I compare, S will become bracket term. So 1 plus Z inverse and I can do here. This also I can take 1 plus and 1 minus. See here, when we have negative Z minus 1, I will take Z plus 1. Further I can do that. So 1 plus Z is equal to Z minus U. You can exchange these two terms, no problem. Or S is equal to, instead of 1, I can write, because Z and S, whatever I am now dealing here, as I told you, A, B, Z, all are matrix forms, right? So if I can replace this one by another matrix, it would be easy to add or subtract. So just to make a similar formatting, one I can replace it with the identity matrix U, right? One is replaced with U. Then what I will do, I will simply replace these two brackets by some other variables. Say I'm taking, for this complete U plus Z, this inside, this I'm representing as a Q, and Z minus U, the second term, this I'm representing as R. So see, I have written here where Q is Z plus U and R is Z minus U. So simply denoting these two bracket terms as Q and R, I will get equation 4. Equation 4, you look at, S is equal to Q inverse into R. Okay, this we are going to utilize, okay, at the end. Now it is important to note equation 4, it is S is equal to Q inverse into R. Now coming back to that derivation which we did, for a reciprocal network, Z and Y matrices are symmetrical. You know, Zij equals to Zji, Yij is equal to Yji. So using that, what I can do, because see here, when you are taking Q and R, they are in terms of Z and unit identity matrix also, but Q and R in terms of Z. So taking this concept for a reciprocal network, this is symmetric. We have already proved this using Poynting theorem and Lorentz reciprocity theorem. We have proved them. So using that concept, when I'm taking Q and R, so let me take from this symmetric property, R into Q equals to Q into R, because we have already Q and R are in terms of Z and Z is the symmetry. So QR equals to RQ. What I will do mathematically in the next step, I will multiply on both sides by Q inverse 2 times. See here, just let me just show you with a different color. See, this R and Q, I have kept it as it is here. This also QR, I have kept it at the center. What I have done before and after, I am multiplying with Q inverse on both sides. Q inverse, Q inverse. Multiplying on both sides by Q inverse. Starting at the end, before this and after this. Okay, but it doesn't make a difference because anyway they get cancelled at the end. After this, what I will do, I will club the different parameters. Observe here, Q and Q inverse, you know that whenever you take multiplication of two, one is the inverse and one is the original value, they get cancelled. Similarly, I'm joining first two letters, Q inverse and Q gets cancelled. I'll be left with, see, I'll be left with Q inverse into R, and here R into Q inverse. Okay, rearrangement, simple mathematical rearrangements. Q inverse into R is equal to R into Q inverse. See from equation 4, look at equation 4. It is Q inverse into R, which is your S matrix. So this LHS, what I will do from equation 4, I will replace it with S. So S is equal to Q inverse into R, right? Which is equal to R into Q inverse. So what does this mean? When you are exchanging, see R into Q inverse or R into Q inverse into R, if you are exchanging both, it means you are taking the transpose. You are taking the transpose. So S and S transpose both are equal. See what all we have done at the end. Please try to understand. From equation 4 at the end, we have used this Q inverse into R as S. That I have substituted here. S is equal to Q inverse into R, which is equal to what we have got? R into Q inverse. When you are exchanging these two, what does that mean? You are taking the transpose. Then only they become equal. If you take the transpose, they are equal. So yes and yes transpose both are equal. This is a reciprocity or symmetric property of S matrix, which is proved. Hope you understood this derivation. Any doubts in this, you can ask me. It is very simple. Just the thing is, from starting from the basics of transmission line equation, we have taken the concept. V and I, they are the combination of incident and reflected, A plus B, A minus B. Some simple mathematics, comparing it with B equals to S into A. We have comparison, S is equal to. Then we have replaced the bracket values into Q and R. And taking the concept of reciprocal network, Z and Y matrices are symmetrical, which we have already proved. Taking that simple mathematics, before and after, we have taken Q inverse. Why only Q inverse? Because here I have a Q inverse. So that's why, because R is already existing. So just for that comparisons, getting that value, I am multiplying before and after that with the Q inverse. And then simple rearrangements and comparisons. So we will be getting this symmetric property proved. There is one more property, that is unitary property. This will be a work for you for today's session. I have derived a symmetric property for a reciprocal network. Now your work is to try out the proof for unitary property. So what does unitary property say? Unitary property is S into S transpose, the conjugate value if you take, you will get the identity matrix. So this is your assignment you can take. Don't consider this only for write-up assignment, which one out of your, see the strength is 18 now, your actual strength of the class is 36. So if one tries and remaining all will copy it, I don't want that. I want each and every student to try out. I hope this is clear to you. Unitary property is a work for you. Please try out. If you won't get, I'll take it, but please, I want you people to try once at least. There's no proof for this. For your studies, unitary and symmetric property proofs. Most probably they may ask or they may not ask, I don't know, but we should be prepared for every possible question. Then coming to the next heading, that is S matrix or the S parameters for a two-port network with a mismatched load. So mismatched load means we will be getting reflections here. So till now, we have seen some properties wherein ideally, if you take a two-port network, for example, if the network is lossless, if the network is reciprocal, we have seen some properties just now before this concept. Now, if I consider a mismatched load, so what will happen? We will come across certain reflections. So how to find those reflections? How to find the S parameters? Without reflections, it is easy to find. But with reflections, you need to find the reflection coefficient. Then you'll be able to find the S parameters. So let us consider a two-port network is formed. This is a general description what I have given. A two-port network is formed when there is a discontinuity between the input and output ports. You know this. Imagine a pipeline where there is a joint. Okay. So there only what? This is say some three pipes. They are getting joined here. This is a junction. So when you come across certain discontinuity, एक port से दूसरे port. So then only this input and output ports are formed. So imagine a case of your water pipeline. You'll understand it in a better way. So what will happen here? During the propagation of a microwave, okay, when the wave travels, during that propagation through the junction, they form from one port to the another port. Evanescent modes are excited. So you should know what are the evanescent modes. Actually, what happens, what is a mode? Modes are nothing but the different configurations of the electric and magnetic fields, because you're now considering at microwave frequencies, not simple voltages and currents. You're taking the input and outputs in terms of traveling waves. So when you come across waves, we are considering electromagnetic waves. So the fields will be there. So whatever the different configurations of the fields that exist during the propagation, we call them modes. Okay, different configurations of the fields. So out of this, majorly when see assume करो कि एक waveguide है, उसमें से एक wave travel कर रहा है. So if I try to draw the field pattern for this, how the modes will propagate inside. Okay, I am taking a single example. This is applicable for many different modes. See, assume करो कि ये आपका distribution है. Electric field means जब आपका wave travel कर रहा है inside the waveguide, the field is concentrated majorly at the center. And if you see the wave, the curve is, this is a graph, okay? The curve is showing, it's a decaying on both sides. So when I'm telling you that at the center, most of the field or the most of your field is concentrated. But what about these tapering ends? If you see, there is a decay. You can observe, assume करो ये आपका waveguide का boundary है. इससे बाहर भी थोड़ा बहुत जाएगा वो, if you take, से यहाँ पे कोटिंग वगैरह रहेगा, okay? जो वहां पे वो जो जाएगा फील्ड, that is not utilizable by the waveguide, right? क्योंकि at the center जितना फील्ड concentrated है वही आपका एनर्जी और पावर रहेगा. But what about these? When the field is entering tapering, okay, decay होके वो other sides में भी जा रहा है. When the field travels, the field decays like this, evanescent modes are excited, okay, which are actually unwanted. We don't require it. So that's why you can see here what is written. So whenever a microwave travels, it propagates through a junction, or if you take a waveguide from one port to the another port, evanescent modes are excited at each discontinuity. Which contains reactive energy, even it contains some energy, right? And these modes decay, as I told you, they decay very fast away from the junction and they become negligible. वो होते होते zero हो जाएगा, something like this. Okay, Gaussian distribution you can see. सेंटर में मैक्सिमम रहेगा, at the ends, both ends, as it moves, tapering है. It means as the wave propagates, long distances, ऐसे ही, तो after some time ये जो evanescent modes के through जो waves जा रहे हैं, they'll become negligible after certain distance of wavelength. Evanescent modes are what? They are not the modes which actually the field, at which the field is concentrated. The field जो concentrate रहेगा आपका शायद TE mode, TM mode, transverse electric, transfer magnetic, 0 1 1 0, like this, the different modes you come across. But however, evanescent modes are whenever there is a discontinuity. So even it contains certain energy, but however, as the waves propagate, okay, when they propagate through the your waveguide, these becomes negligible. So the S parameters of such junctions with certain discontinuity we can calculate by considering a two-port network as shown. So this figure is important for you for your next derivation. Observe what all things are given in this. Assuming a two-port network, you have a reference plane here, first reference plane and second reference plane. Two-port network hai. This is your generator side. It has got its own impedance, input, then incident wave, reflected wave. Similarly, on the other side, you have ZL. Load is there. You have incident wave, reflected wave. As I told you, it is not perfectly matched. I'm showing the Z0. It is the transmission line is having a characteristic impedance, not the two port. It is not perfectly matched. It is a mismatched junction because I'm taking the load ZL. It is not Z0. Because of this mismatched load condition, there exist reflections. So you have studied about the reflection coefficient. I think we have used a tau there. Tau is a reflection coefficient, T is the transmission coefficient. But here they have considered K1 and K2. So K1 and K2 are the reflections. K1 is for the first port, K2 is the reflection for the second port. So अगर मुझे S parameters calculate करने पड़े हैं इसको, तो for that I need to find K1 and K2. Okay, so we will be looking at how to find these reflection coefficients and S parameters for such a two-port network which is having a discontinuity, which is having a mismatched load. We will be looking at this in the next session. Okay.